Do you know, by the way, why you all looked at me and started listening and stopped talking?
It's so high. In the front.
Because I started to look at you. I was in the front all this time, and I wasn't talking. And before I said hi, I just stood here and I looked at you. And eye contact is one of the things that we're going to be talking about in presentation. I just wanted to draw that up because it was a nice example. I just stood here and started looking at you, and you all started looking at me and stopped talking. That's one of the things that a speaker does to get attention. You don't have to necessarily stand up there and excuse me, I'm going to be talking now. You just can stand there for a little bit. We're going to get the hint. My name is Barbara Mishli. And this is Margaret. Just going to introduce myself in just a second. I'm one of the coordinators for the class. I am hopefully almost done graduate student at Communications Department. I teach public speaking. I teach interpersonal communication. I think this is an awesome idea for the class. She had this idea, and I think it's absolutely fabulous, and I'm so glad that she allowed me to help coordinate it and hopefully teach it a little bit. My history with public speaking is now I teach it. Before I taught public speaking, I went through hell of my own to learn how to not be afraid of it and to learn how to not have this. Because we all have it, by the way. Believe me, it's perfectly fine. And it's not like some people are born to do it and they just feel bad. No. They just have to. They just get over it. Sometimes because they really, really want to, sometimes because they absolutely have to, because they find out they're going to be in public speaking. And you just gotta deal with it. This is my background. I'm from Poland. I lived in the United States 4 years now. I love it. I strongly believe in communication. I think it's super cool, and I think it's very relevant to everything we do. And I think public presentation is something that you can't really avoid, and you do anyway, so you might as well do it better. That's kind of my approach to public speaking. Because if you think about it, you probably just speak, really, all the time. Anytime there's more than 2 listeners, you're speaking publicly. So since we're all doing it, you might as well do it. My goal for this class is to learn from you guys and watch you talking about stuff that you're doing, which is always really, really interesting. Anytime you talk, you listen to someone talk about things that they do, that's the best possible example of public speaking, because you guys are hopefully interested in what you do. And I hope to help you with all I can, and I hope we're all going to learn as much as we can, and I hope we're going to be able to create an environment in which this will not occur as often as we're afraid. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. And I'm Margaret. So I came up with the idea for this class because I'm involved in a program called Professors to the Future. And basically, one of the things that we do is we're supposed to come up with something that helps graduate students or postdocs in some way. So with a really broad idea like that, the first thing I thought of actually was public speaking, and it's because I've had really bad experiences with it, and we have to do it anyway. So, and then I know just from talking to my friends and other professors that, you know, it's something that you're not really well prepared for at UCB at least. Like, I haven't heard of any other classes that are for graduate students on public speaking, on presenting your own research, which we all have to do. So I think it's, you know, something that's needed for us to be able to get better at it, because we have to do it anyway. So my experience was I went to my first academic conference, and I was sitting there waiting to get up and give my talk, and I got more and more nervous until I finally felt like I was going to pass out. And they called my name for me to get up and give my presentation, and I ran out of the room. And I just hung out in the bathroom for like 20 minutes until I knew that the session was over and I could leave. And that was my first professional public speaking experience. And so you can guess that having that terrible experience the first time made it even worse the next time. Because the next time you're like, oh my God, this can't happen again. Right? So it just sets you up for failure. So I just knew that I had to do something about it. And it was a big surprise for me just because I never knew that I was going to have that kind of reaction. I am a TA every quarter. I've been at UCD this is my 6th year, and I've been TAing every quarter. I give a guest lecture every quarter in the classes I TA. So I have lots of experience with giving presentations. And I get nervous, but it's nothing horrible. Like talking to my peers and presenting my own research just did it for me. So I've presented at a conference since then, and it was still terrifying, but it was easier. So there is hope. So that was kind of the original idea behind the class, is that I wanted to help people get over their public speaking anxiety and also help myself get over it. And then talking with some other people about the structure of the class, we decided that it should focus not only on anxiety, but also on how to actually do a really good presentation. So like once you get over the anxiety, how do you make the presentation really good? How do you make the audience listen to you, and how do you present your ideas in a way that's really exciting and interesting? So that's what the second kind of half of the class is going to focus on. So we're going to go more into like the structure of the class.
I'm going to give you a little bit, and go ahead and you can get it. We're going to go over this real quick. I hope I gave you enough. We're all graduate students, so I'm going to read the syllabus to you. I'm assuming we all can read. Who we are, you already know. On the syllabus, you have our email addresses. Please use them. I actually have official office hours that you can come and talk to me if you need to, but also both me and Margaret will stay on Thursday after class, and we're going to be hanging out here for a little bit. So if you have any questions, and you can, for some reason, make it to my office hours or meet with Margaret or something like this, just let us know. I do emphasize it though, because graduate or undergraduates, we don't really like to talk to our professors sometimes, and I'm just trying to let you guys know that we are willing to do what we can to help you quickly use it. You know what the course objectives are. We're trying to manage our public speaking anxiety. We're going to be learning about public speaking anxiety a little bit. There are 2 things that we recommend for reading. You don't have to buy those books because we're not going to be assigning homework. We're not going to be dealing with, you have to read the chapter 5 for next time. You don't. You can. Those are both very useful publications, so if you want to buy them, that's a good thing to have. If you don't, though, they're both in our library, so you can take a look at them, see if it's worth your money or not. You can buy them at Amazon, really cheap. So.
You can do our office hour and photocopy it after.
Yeah, if you want to also, because we both have a copy. And then another thing is we're going to put it on as soon as we figure it out. We're going to put it on reserve in the library, so you're going to be able to use it as well. But you don't really have to read it. If, by any chance, we come up on something that we think you really should read, we will let you know, and we will probably post it on the website. Which might happen, but it's, yeah. I'm not talking to you about presentations. Margaret's going to talk to you about presentations. This is a pass, no pass class. How fabulous is that? To be in grad school and have a class that you just need to pass. And basically, pass means as long as you're here, you don't pass out, throw up, or leave. You have a course, and you deliver your presentation, you're good. Really, it's okay. As long as we're all here to learn, we're all here to hopefully improve the process. So literally, as long as you are here and you are capable of delivering anything that you have prepared, you're good. The other important thing is attendance. We're going to have awesome people come here and talk to us. You really want to hear them. And we will actually take roster. What we're going to do is these little place cards. This is a very complicated system. Can you tell me what you're going to do with it? She tried to explain it to me, but I didn't really get that.
So you guys will have name cards. Basically, we're going to collect them every day after class, and then when you come to the next class, you come and pick up your name card, and if you don't pick up your name card, that means that you were there that day. So that's how we're taking it.
How can that do that? That way we pass the awkward face, and I'm like, We'll try to remember your names though. So yeah, the classes, pass, no pass. The two important things is being here and delivering your presentation and attending classes. You can miss too, so if something happens, obviously it's okay, things happen to us all and we know it, so if you can't or if you know that you're not going to be able to attend, it's perfectly fine. What else? We will have one extra time in week 7, which is around February 17th, when we will try to figure out an extra time where at least half of us can meet, in case not everybody can make a presentation. Because we have only 2 presentation days for presentation number 2, and we might not have enough time for all of us to present. So what we'll try to do is sometime around that time we'll try to get this room and meet for one extra class period. So all of us get the chance to deliver the presentations with an actual audience. So I'm giving you a heads up, we're probably going to create a poll or somehow go about it so we can figure out the time that would be best for as many of us as possible. But I'm just giving you a heads up that there will be one extra class that we will during which we'll want to make sure that everybody has a chance to present. I think that's all from me. And yeah,
I'm just going to go over a little bit about what these presentations are that you're going to be doing. You might have looked at the syllabus already and seen what they are, but so first of all, you might have noticed that we're not making you go around the room and introduce yourself to each other and to us, and that's because that can be scary. That causes me anxiety every time I have to do it. In graduate classes, like anything, I hate it. You know, every time we're going around, I'm not listening to what anybody else is saying. The whole time I'm sitting there thinking, my name is Margaret Fisher. I'm a graduate student in the geography graduate department. You know, I'm trying to think in my head, even though I'm just talking about myself and it's just easy. So that's going to be your first presentation. Is you're going to have, I think, 3 minutes to introduce yourself to the class. It's going to be after we have 2 lectures on overcoming public speaking anxiety. So that'll be your first little push into doing a public speech. And you're going to be talking about yourself, what you do, what you study, just, you know, like you normally do in all of your classes. So we're going to try and reduce some of the anxiety with that. So it'll be a little test. So hopefully, I mean, that one won't take too much preparation for. The second one is going to be focused on presenting what you do, whatever that might be. We have a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds in here. It's just going to be cool. So presenting what you do, what you study, what you research to a non-academic audience. And that can be, you can aim your presentation at undergrads, at maybe talking to the media. You can do your presentation like you're trying to explain what you do to your parents. Which is always fun. So, and we're going to have some people come in and talk to how do you kind of tailor what you say to different audiences. And then the last one is going to be on presenting what you do to an academic audience. And we're going to treat it like you're preparing to give a talk at a conference, at an academic conference to your peers. So that'll be really interesting too, since we're all from different fields and all have no understanding of what you're saying. So I think that'll be really good. So the last 2 are, the second one is 7 minutes long, and the third one is going to be 7 minutes long, and you're going to have 2 minutes of questions like you would at a conference. For the first one, you don't need to do any PowerPoints or anything like that. It's just talking about yourself. For the second 2, we'd like you to use visual aids. It doesn't have to be PowerPoint, but we're going to have a lot of focus on using PowerPoint. We're going to have somebody come in and give a guest lecture on it, and then we're going to have 2 periods in a computer lab where we have someone helping you out designing your presentation. So you're welcome to use PowerPoint. You're welcome to use anything else that you can come up with as well, though. So any questions about the presentation?
What I would like to say for myself is it doesn't have to be PowerPoint, however. Remember that there are other ways to use audiovisual aids. I feel sometimes that we're on PowerPoint overload, and sometimes when I teach public speaking, I have a feeling that somebody's on my PowerPoint presentation. But a little bit. So if you feel like, you know what, maybe the there would be a different way to present what I do, please feel free to use it. It's not like you have got to prepare a PowerPoint presentation. It's useful and it can be used in many ways that I can't even predict, and I'm hoping to learn a lot from our PowerPoint workshop. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know this is not something you have to do, but I think this is going to be very, very useful. The other very important thing about this class is that, and I'm going to give you those now to take a look at it. The other very important thing about this class is feedback. Even though we're not really grading you, we want you to know how you're doing, and we want you to learn from it. So this is essentially the only way that we can get better. If we don't know how we're doing, we're never going to get better. So the thing is, after each presentation cycle, what we're going to do is, after each presentation cycle, we're going to have a discussion in which we talk briefly about strengths, weaknesses, certain things we can work on, certain things we should work on. But separate from that, while you are presenting, your peers, everyone in the class, will get one of these for each of the presentations. And the reason for that is sometimes, as graduates and mature as we are, we don't want to hear certain things in public. We don't want to know what other people necessarily thought of, I don't know, weaknesses or certain strengths of our presentation. This is a way for you guys to get feedback and to give feedback that is completely anonymous but very productive, hopefully. And the way I designed this deals with different aspects of each of those presentations. The first one will deal with delivery. We will talk about delivery a little bit. We will talk about eye contact, how important it is. And 1 to 10, basically, the way I intended it is percentage of eye contact, roughly. You want to have more than 50% of eye contact during each presentation. That's kind of a mark that you want to aim at. So, points being 1 to 10, think about it as percentage of eye contact that you notice from the speaker. If you feel like they looked at your phone. Extemporaneous quality in public speaking jargon means basically a balance between a formal delivery where you read and a completely impromptu, unprepared, spontaneous delivery. What we're going to be aiming for is presentations that are prepared. You work with an outline, but we want to avoid people standing here and reading every single word that they have planned to say, because it makes the presentation very boring and usually lacks eye contact. That's just bad. And we've all been into lectures like this where people just sit there and you're thinking, I'm really glad you have a very close personal relationship with this piece of paper, but I don't care. I am here and I want you to look at me. So this is something we're going to try to avoid. We're going to try to balance the with completely, I have no idea what I'm going to be talking about, so I figured I'm just going to say something, because that usually makes a very unprofessional impression. Body language, we're going to be talking about this. You want to avoid hands here, you want to avoid hair completely on your face, you want to avoid certain, I did this. That's why we're going to be encouraging you to get videos. I taught by then already when I was a community college teacher. I was just so important and everything. And I was teaching in Poland, and someone videotaped me because we had a training. And I realized that everybody can hear me, my pitch is good, everything's good about it, but I do this all the time. Constantly, 45 minutes of lecture, I do PT days, and I'm thinking, and no one tells me that. I do it for 4 years, and no, really? And had I not seen myself on a videotape, I would never do that. And I would never know I'm doing this. And this is, it's ridiculous. I mean, I understand you're nervous, but come on. Things like that you sometimes have to figure out. So this might be a good example of why language is extremely distracting. Vocalism, because when I really say something that's like really important. Again, we're going to be working on those too. Overall quality of delivery, basically how much delivery got in the way of content or not. Content, I don't think requires much of explanations. What central idea does the speaker try to convey? The reason why I put it in there is you want everyone who listens to you to put roughly the same thing here. Because that means you communicated. Public presentation is an act of communication. So essentially what you want to end up with is a message that people got. You hopefully want them to get the same message, right? So you want to communicate your main point. What were the main points? Were the main points stated at the beginning? That's always very important to make sure people know what you're going to be talking about. Because people, no offense, don't really listen to And it's not because you're not interesting or anything, it's just that our attention span for personal delivery isn't really as big as we would think. At any given time, according to research, about 30% of you is listening to me. It's kind of like going in circles. And just like people usually repeat everything that they say, because they're hoping that the 30% will switch around the class and that way everybody will finally get it. What key facts were most memorable, interesting? This is a little different than what main points. So sometimes you might want to know what things in your research or in your presentation people think were most interesting, were the coolest, because you might want to use them as an example, or you might want to develop them later for your future presentation, stuff like that. Did the speaker cite any external sources, and how credible were these sources? Credible sources are very important. I hope to have a little time to talk about it, but at the same time, I'm not going to explain it to you all. We all know how important credible sources are. We spend our share amount of time doing all our work cited and everything else, so we know why it's important. Was the structure of presentation well suited for conveying the overall message? This is something I want you to think about when you prepare your presentation too. Of course, we're used to the intro, body, conclusion, preview, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if you present a presentation, especially talking to non-academics, do you have this moment sometimes when you ask, what do you study? Everyone will be like, it's complicated. You know that if you're going to tell them that you study goal entrance according to communication theory or something, they're going to look at you, that's great. Often it's really hard for people who aren't in our discipline to understand what are they doing. You might want to use an innovative structure sometimes to explain it to people. You might want to start with some completely off-the-wall example. You might want to start with something that people would never connect with your discipline, but that you know somehow connects with your discipline. So think about structure as a kind of tool for you to use too. You don't necessarily always have to start with, hi, my name is, and this is what I'm going to talk about. You can totally walk in the room and say, do you know why elephants do this? If it's somehow related to your discipline. You can, and it can be surprisingly very memorable and help your audience remember it differently. So this is why this question is there. And finally, audience adaptation. No public presentation would be really important without the public, because that's just you talking to yourself, and that's just weird. I do that all the time, but at the same time, you do need your public. So what did the speaker do to capture interest? What physically did this person do to reach out to you, to acknowledge you, to say, okay, I see you, I know you're here, and you are really important to me. This is something that we're going to be grading. What did you like most about this presentation? And finally, how this presentation could be improved. Don't be mean, be productive, think about what you would like to see on this piece of paper to make your own presentation better. And this is something that we're going to be using for every presentation. So if you want to print it off the smart site before the presentation day, you can do that, and we're going to be bringing some extra to the class too. And that's basically a short explanation of why this is here and why all these questions are here.
I'm excited to hear about that, because when I explain to people what I study, I basically study squirrel communication, and I scare squirrels for seconds. That's my little introduction to what I do. And it's really a very good explanation, but not leaves people with like, okay. So I wanted to mention that you might have noticed that we're videotaping right now, and we're going to be videotaping all the lectures that we're doing, and that's because we're going to be podcasting them. We have the option of videotaping your presentation, obviously, if you have a video camera. You don't have to do that, though. So I know from experience that having a videotape rolling can sometimes change the way that you talk, because you're aware that, you know, I don't know why it's so different. When people are looking at you and you're kind of self-conscious, but when there's a video camera, it's like, it's going to be there forever, and like anyone can see it, you know, even though nobody's going to want to watch you. Like, at home.
I posted it on YouTube. How many people do you think?
So anyway, we'd be happy to videotape you. You would be the only one that gets your tape. We're not going to watch it in class. You can just delete the file if you want to. You don't ever have to watch it. But it can be a really good tool, like Barbara mentioned, that you'll see yourself doing things that you have no idea that you're doing. So it can be a great tool. You can do it for all your presentations, you know, one of them, none of them, just let us know if you'd like us to do that for you, and we'll videotape you and give you a copy of it. You'll be the only one that ever sees it unless you want to show it to your friends and family.
I would encourage you to do it just because I know that as embarrassing as it is, really, if you watch it all by yourself, you can really benefit from it because you're going to be able to instantly see the things that you don't want to do anymore. And remember, we don't have to see, we don't even have to see it.
Right.
We can just give you the file and that's your presentation, and we never mess with it. You can use it if you want, but I would encourage you also, if you do want us to see it and like go over this and say, oh, you know, we talked about this, or this is something that you could have, whatever you want, it's yours to do. I would strongly encourage you to do it. I know how embarrassing it was for me to think, yes, it looks stupid, but I've been doing it for 4 years and nobody told me that I have been doing this. And this is really bad. Because you want to, you know how it is when you have something in your teeth, right? Or like you have a chalk print right, I have this thing all the time, like right here. And you walk all day on campus with this. So yeah, it's just something that I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think it's really great too. I was teaching a class for undergraduates on global climate change, so I taped the last lecture, so it's like only I could use it for like, I don't know, something, for applying for jobs or something like that, and I had it on my computer, and my mom saw that it's on my computer, and she watched the whole thing, and then she sent it to my grandma, and like everybody we know,
So don't show it on your computer.
yeah, I really even something else. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an introduction to the speakers that we're going to have coming. They're really great, and I'm really excited that we got them here for you to come. We're going to start with this week on Thursday. We're going to have a guest lecturer. She is, I haven't actually met her in person, but her name is Sharon, and she works at Kaiser Permanente. She's a therapist, and she specializes in anxiety, and in all kinds of anxiety. So she's going to cover public speaking anxiety, but she's actually going to be talking a lot about like what happens in your body and your brain when you're feeling this anxiety, and like what is this physical reaction, and you know, and that's something that has really helped me with overcoming public speaking anxiety. Is just understanding, you know, that it's okay to have this feeling of my heart racing. It doesn't mean that I'm going to have a heart attack, or you know, it's okay that my stomach hurts. I'm not going to throw up. You know, I'm not going to actually pass out. So that has helped me a lot with understanding these feelings that are going around in your body and that are crazy and feel like you can't have any control over them. So that's what she's going to focus on. And then we're going to have Dr. Motley. It's going to be next week on Tuesday. He is a professor here at UC Davis. He's actually retiring, I think, after this quarter. And he works in the communication department. He does research on lots of different things. But one thing that he specializes in is public speaking anxiety. So that's going to be exciting. And he wrote the book that we are recommending. And so what he actually does is he addresses public speaking coming at it from a different point of view. So he really tries to get you to think about giving a presentation as just talking to a group of people rather than being a performer, right? So there's a big difference in the way that you approach a speech if you think about that you're performing and people are judging you, or if you think about that I have something that I want to tell a bunch of people, and you know, lucky me, I get a room full of people that have to listen to me. So that's what he's going to talk about, and that's a big help too. Then later on, we're going to have Dr. Bamforth. I don't know if any of you have heard him talk. He is the brew master on campus. So that's what he studies, is brewing of beer. He's awesome. I TA a class on mold, mushrooms, and society. And he comes and gives a guest lecture for that class every quarter, and he is so good. So that's why we're having him, is because he is amazing at talking to undergrads about something that's really complicated. I mean, he talks about brewing, but he actually does a really detailed description of what it takes to get, you know, through the brewing process, and then he incorporates yeast because it's a fungus class. So he is really respected on campus. He gets invited to do tons of guest lectures because he's just so fun to listen to. And then he also was on, I don't know if any of you have ever watched Sunday Morning on PBS. They just did a special on him on there. So he's also very good at translating what he does into talking to the media. And I'm going to try and get a clip of that and put it on our site. Hopefully he has a clip that you can give us so you guys can all see that. And then we have Fernando, who's going to be our PowerPoint guru. He is an IT person here on campus. He specializes, he's really great at PowerPoint. He's also very good at website design. So he really concentrates on making things look good and making things user-friendly. And for the PowerPoint stuff, he's going to come and give a lecture on PowerPoint, on kind of the general things about PowerPoint, like when to use it, when not to use it, maybe mistakes that you can avoid. And then we're going to have those 2 computer sessions with him. And he also has told me that you can make your posters, like for academic conferences, in PowerPoint. So that's something else that he's going to offer to show us how to do. So that'll be pretty cool. Yeah, those are going to be all of our guest speakers, and then the rest of it is going to be the 2 of us.
The postdoc, do we have any postdoc?
Oh yeah. Postdocs? Anybody? Postdocs? You're all grad students today? Okay. Well, we have some postdocs that want to take the class, so. Okay, I'll say this
I am not going to check the roster, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep your name tag, and then I'm just going to mark who's here today. We are pretty much done. Before, next time you know what's going to be happening, we're going to have 2 guest lectures, and then after the guest lectures, you come in and you start with the first presentation. So be aware of a few things I would like to mention real quick when you think about your first presentation, just so you kind of can, what are you saying in this word? Hit the ground doing something. Rolling. Rolling? Running. There you go. I know you're hitting the ground and then you do something, but anyway. See what other? That's what I want you to do. And I want you to remember a few most important things. The time limit is important. We want to get used to time limit. We want to limit ourselves because nothing annoys you more than a speaker who says, I'm going to take 2 minutes of your time, and then 25 minutes later you want to shoot them. Because you're thinking, dude, 5 minutes is 5 times 60 seconds, and I'm missing my lunch. So you want to avoid that. You want to go longer than a minute and a half. The reason for that, and this is something that I'm sure our anxiety speakers will talk about, everything that happens in your body, this whole I'm going to die and pass out and these people are going to eat me alive, all this thing stops being at its worst after 90 seconds. This is a biological thing that happens to your body. We are trained evolutionary too. If we see that many faces looking at us, it's war, basically. Either they're going to kill us or eat us. One of those 2 things is going to happen. And our body is trained to, after 90 seconds, if they haven't eaten you or killed you, it means that, oh, okay. But our body can't produce that amount of adrenaline and panic for much longer periods of time because it would just be unhealthy for us. So basically, you want to go longer than 90 seconds. You want to make sure that you're talking to us for longer than a minute and a half because you want to experience this, which happens biologically. I can promise you that. So pay attention to that. I would recommend if you want to practice, like say it to yourself 1 or 2 times. Even if you say it out loud, nobody's going to laugh at you. It's okay. You're preparing a speech or a presentation. I think Margaret mentioned a very important thing. We're not doing a theater here. We're not teaching you to be actors. We're teaching you to say what you already have to say and what you already know and what you already want to say in a way that doesn't make you want to die. Basically, this is kind of how we want you to approach it. It's not, we're not sitting here thinking, now let's see, shall we? That's not the context. The context is, okay, good job, you can do it. And basically we're just going to be talking about techniques to make it a little easier for you. Do you have any questions for us? To any of us about anything?
I think about the unit. I noticed that it was
variable. Yeah, so it's variable units, you should sign up for 2. Because it's 2 hours a week, so you should be taking it for 2. Unless there's like some reason you want more or less that you can ask about it.
So about the book, were these just interesting reads, or did you actually get something out of it when you guys went to?
They are the books that basically I use to kind of come up with what we're doing for the background in public speaking besides that I got it. So I met with Dr. Motley, and he gave me this book, which was excellent. I read the whole thing in like a weekend, and then I had to give a lecture the following week, and it really helped. And he's actually done a study that shows that people who read his book versus people that didn't read his book, it immediately helps.
It's a life-changing experience
Yeah.
for me too. I really love this book.
And like, even if you just read the first 1 or 2 chapters, that's the whole thing that he talks about, and the rest of the book is kind of like organizing your speeches and different stuff. So the first few chapters are about anxiety. So I would really recommend that book. Both of them you can find on Amazon, and again, you can come and photocopy them if you want to, whatever, we can get them to you. The other one is a really basic guide on speaking in general, and it's one that I think they use for public speaking classes. So it's basically what I needed as a background to be able to tell you about public speaking, which actually Barbara was thinking most of. So it's got a little bit of an introduction to lots of different parts of speaking, like how do you organize a talk, how do you figure out what your audience is like, you know, different kinds of talks, persuasive speeches. Like, we're not going to be covering that kind of stuff. That's more for a speaking class. But there are some chapters in there that are really good.
There are some things that you can. I like this book for one reason. It takes you a little beyond what you would think of as a public speaking class. It talks generally about speaking in front of people, not necessarily in the context that, oh, I have to do public speaking, I have to give an informative and persuasive speech. It talks a lot about, for instance, even if you read chapter about persuasive speeches or informative speeches, it helps you to know with what purpose you talk to your audience. Even if you don't physically have to prepare a persuasive speech for a public speaking class, it helps if you think preparing your presentation, okay, what do I want these people to end up with? Do I want them to end up with an information? Or do I want them to end up with a sort of a, maybe, So, because you're going to be talking differently to people, for instance, who maybe want to persuade to pursue your discipline, or people who you want to encourage to do certain things, versus people who you just want to strictly inform, okay, this is what I do, or this is what I came up with. So, even if you don't prepare a formal type of informative or persuasive speech, it can still help you to think about a purpose. As in, why am I doing this? And then, depending on why am I doing this, I'm going to maybe shape it a little differently, or I'm going to start a little differently, or I'm going to address my audience differently. And this is really useful. Do you guys have that?
And let us know if you guys come up with any readings. I have a couple that I'm going to post on the site, you know, like websites or anything else that you can come up with, anything that's helped you. That'd be great.
I know the quotes one. The quotes one are super cool. If you're looking for a funny quote or some opening or some good stuff, there are plenty of websites.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. I spoke to both Dr. Peterson about volume, because I've gotten off the fact I don't talk on them. I'll feel like I'm shouting from the side. So if there's any way that you guys can find information about that,
Yeah.
to get to us, that would be useful. And I'd like
There
to
would be.
personally.
I know reading has a lot to do with it. I used to, that woman I used to know, actually an acting coach that was talking to me about it a little bit. Maybe I will ask her actually for some useful website or something like that. But yeah, we don't want to do this too. It is sometimes a big issue. I know my issue is that when I'm going to less than 20 people, I prefer this one. I just, you know, it's good. I'm good.
So the same thing when I TA, like, I'll be, you know, talking about something and I'm really excited, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm shouting.
But it's genetical. When I talk to my mom, I hope my phone is up here. I don't have it on speaker. I'm just, okay then. It was a pleasure. We'll see you on Thursday. Don't take your name tags with you. Leave them for